Most people think cinematography is about beautiful shots, good lighting, expensive cameras, wide landscapes, but great cinematography does something else. It tells the story without speaking. In 2025, a handful of films proved that visuals alone can carry emotion, psychology, and meaning. These are not random scenes. These are carefully designed moments where the camera becomes the narrator. Let's break them down. There is a scene in Sinners, a nighttime ritual sequence, that tells you everything about the film's emotional weight without explaining anything. The camera uses large format framing, placing human faces against overwhelming darkness. The faces are close. The environment is massive. This creates scale contrast. Psychologically, the frame is doing something very specific. It's saying, you cannot escape what surrounds you. The camera barely moves. Instead, it lets the characters exist inside the frame. Trapped. Low-key lighting keeps highlights controlled, forcing your eyes toward expressions rather than surroundings. This is cinematography used as pressure. The scene doesn't ask you to understand the characters. It asks you to feel what they're feeling. That's visual storytelling. In this film, there's a wide battlefield standoff that feels strangely intimate. The frame is extremely wide. Characters are placed at the edges, never centered. This is a classic widescreen technique, but used in an unexpected way. Wide frames usually suggest freedom. Here, they create isolation. The lens compresses distance, making characters feel closer than they are, but emotionally unreachable. The camera barely moves. No dramatic push-ins. No handheld chaos. The stillness creates tension. This scene proves something important. Sometimes the absence of movement is more powerful than motion. Cinematography here communicates power imbalance, hesitation, and inevitability without dialogue. There is a simple scene in Train Dreams. A man walking alone through a forest. No dialogue, no music guiding emotion. Just landscape and time. The camera is static. The character enters the frame and exits it. This choice matters. Static frames force the audience to observe rather than anticipate. They slow the viewer down. Natural light changes subtly within the shot, reminding us that time is passing whether the character moves or not. The landscape isn't background, it's an emotional context. This scene shows how cinematography can express loneliness without close-ups, sadness without music, and meaning without words. Stillness becomes the story. In a domestic argument scene, the camera moves uncomfortably close to the lead character's face. This is not intimacy, this is invasion. The depth of field is extremely shallow. The background disappears. There is nowhere to escape visually. Handheld micro-movements make the frame slightly unstable, not enough to be obvious, but enough to feel wrong. Eye lines are intentionally off-center. That imbalance creates discomfort. The cinematography here mirrors emotional suffocation. You are trapped inside the character's psychological space. This scene demonstrates how close-ups aren't always about connection. Sometimes they're about pressure. There is a transition scene involving water, part memory, part present moment. Instead of cutting traditionally, the film uses motion continuity. The camera follows movement into water and emerges into a different time. Light refracts. The image softens. Edges lose clarity. This is visual memory. The camera doesn't explain trauma. It recreates how trauma feels. Fragmented, fluid, non-linear. Cinematography replaces exposition. You don't understand the memory logically. You experience it emotionally. That's advanced visual storytelling. These scenes prove something essential. Cinematography is not decoration. It's narrative. The camera decides where you look, how long you look, and what you feel while looking. In 2025, these films didn't rely on dialogue to explain emotion. They trusted the image, and when cinema trusts the image, the audience feels more than it understands. The scene ends here. But the image stays because the camera already told you the truth.